Hey, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Cheetah Craft. Now, if you watched the last live stream, we're actually coming in within about, I don't know, an hour, hour and a half. That's because we have had some significant changes. The National Weather Service now has Harris, Fort Bend, Wharton County under a winter weather advisory. This is in effect now from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning through 9 a.m. Friday. That is a change, okay? So not only is it including areas south of what than the original advisory, but we're also extending this now until 9 a.m. Really, the reason why we could see less than a tenth of an inch, so still we're expecting less than a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation, but it's for our elevated surfaces, so our bridges and our overpasses. That's where you need to use extreme caution. So again, that winter weather advisory, it's shaded in purple. It now does include Montgomery, Harris, Fort Bend, Wharton, and Waller County. Those counties were not under the previous advisory. In the pink, that's actually a winter storm warning. So if your plans on Thursday or Friday morning were to head to maybe Bryan College Station or out to Austin or maybe even Dallas-Fort Worth, you want to rethink those plans just because we could be looking at ice accumulations higher than that the further west, northwest that you travel. So just keep that in mind. Brand new advisory for you. For your Wednesday, there's not really a whole lot to update you on for today. Today stays the same. We're blanketed in clouds. We did have all that fog earlier this morning. The fog is now lifted, and with the clouds in place, maybe a spotty sprinkle, a stray shower still kind of through your afternoon, but even your carpool pickup, any after-school activities today, not going to be a problem. What we're preparing you for is the Arctic blast that happens overnight. We're not alone in this, all right? If you haven't seen the national big weather story, it is the same thing. It's all connected with this same cold front. Notice how that extends even through the Great Lakes and portions of the Northeast. Almost really 1/3 of the country under this warning. So millions of people feeling the impacts of this Arctic blast. That cold front is still to our northwest. You can still see rain from central Texas into Dallas-Fort Worth. And then it's that freeze line just north of that that extends from Lubbock into Amarillo. They're welcoming in some snow flurries if you have any friends or family in North Texas. 42 right now in Dallas, 18 in Amarillo. That just shows you that cold Arctic air. It is already moving through Texas. Just give this about 12 hours and ooh-wee, tomorrow morning you are going to be feeling it, okay? 60s now, I think we'll climb to right around 70, maybe 72. We'll hit that high later this afternoon, and then it's going to be a really quick turnaround overnight. Let me show you that hour by hour timeline. 70s this afternoon, that's your 3, 4 o'clock forecast, and then it's overnight. Notice how we just go from 60s, dramatic drop, we're in the 40s, and then tomorrow morning, these numbers may be on the conservative side, so you may even be waking up tomorrow morning in the 30s. Feels like temperatures pretty much throughout the day on Thursday will be in the 20s. Just a cold, cold, blustery day. As far as the rain goes, 9 o'clock tonight. Now, we're well above the freezing point, so any showers or any thunderstorms that we see tonight, it's just going to be plain old rain out there, okay? Most of the accumulations are going to be light, not nearly as much rain as kind of what we dealt with a couple days ago. Notice how we're still in the 60s even through this evening. Overnight, getting into tomorrow morning for your Thursday morning, this is 10:30. I take you through that timeline pretty quickly because, again, overnight we're not expecting major impacts. It's about mid-morning, that 9, 10 a.m. That's when we'll probably start to see some of that rain, maybe transition to some freezing rain or even a few ice pellets. From there, temperatures are below the freezing point, especially the further north and west you travel. In fact, take a look. This model run is saying 20s. Ooh, College Station, Brenham, Tomball, in the 20s, okay? Areas maybe even from Katy, Sugar Land, portions of Wharton County as well. Notice you're below the freezing point. Further you travel towards the coastline, we're above the freezing point, but it's still really cold rain. So it doesn't even matter if you're in Pearland or Friendswood, Texas City, League City, you're still going to be expecting really cold conditions for your Thursday. If you don't have to get out in it, don't. Now, if you do, okay, it's probably going to be business as usual, especially on just the ground surfaces. This is getting into Thursday evening, 8:30, and we'll still be dealing with some light moisture. So as far as that freeze line goes, as these temperatures continue to drop and the surface continues to stay really cold, that light accumulation, less than a tenth of an inch, so really light accumulations, but still those elevated surfaces would be the first ones, your bridges and your overpasses, to possibly get that. 4 a.m. Friday morning, area-wide 20s, feels like in the teens, just brutally cold, especially for our standards here locally. In fact, let me show you some of these feels like or wind chill temperatures. Wind chills by Thursday morning, so tomorrow morning 6:30, feeling area wide in the 30s, potentially maybe even 20s northwest of town. Now fast forward this into Friday morning and we're feeling in the teens and the 20s. Yikes. Now that's in effect through Friday, maybe 10:30. So that's even after we've reached our low temperature of the day. But bottom line, this is just showing you how cold, how blustery it's going to be all day Thursday and into Friday. As far as that ice forecast, this is an updated model with our GFS. So this is one model run. Now the hot pink is indicating any impacts would be really minor. When we're talking about that, again, less than 1/10 of an inch, mainly on elevated surfaces. So I don't want you to think this is going to be on the ground. I mean, most of you are going to be able to get to work, get to school, again, business as usual as we head into Thursday and Friday. But with the exception, if your plans were to take you either out west or northwest, those are the areas that you need to watch. If you typically do travel on any overpasses or bridges, those elevated surfaces that you particularly know, especially even in areas in Montgomery County, Waller County, Walker County. And then, of course, once you get north of that, you really need to be mindful of that, okay? So try to rethink those plans if you can, and again, check in. We're going to really walk you through the roadways if there are any problems or situations out there, especially come Thursday afternoon, evening, and Friday morning. So it's especially when it's dark outside, that's when it can be a little more tricky. So to go over this timeline, if you just joined us, I know we're streaming this live. Today, mild temps, 60s, 70s, no big deal. Showers, maybe a clap of thunder overnight, but temperatures are well above the freezing point. As that cold front arrives overnight into the early morning hours tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to rapidly drop. So the sleet or the potential of freezing rain or some ice pellets will be a possibility, especially when we get to 9-10 a.m. Thursday. We'll keep that in effect through about Thursday evening and maybe even Friday morning. And that's when temperatures will be dropping to 20s, maybe wind chills in the teens, especially by Friday morning. So it's kind of that 24 to 30 hour timeline from mid-morning on Thursday through about maybe mid-morning to midday Friday. And that's when we really need to keep our guard up to make sure any of those ice pellets or any of that sleet, it's not accumulating and the grounds are good to go there. But otherwise, I'm not expecting this to be an area-wide event. This is a very different setup than what we had last February, so please keep that in mind. Even the amount of days that we're looking at the cold air are less. We're looking at 2 to 3 days of cold conditions. I mean, last year we were forecasting some single digits. This year, I think we're talking 20. So again, a very different story than last year. And as far as the accumulations go, we're not expecting this to come close to the coastal areas at all. So that very different from last year. It's just the big change will happen to be the temperature swing. So we go from 60s and 70s down to 30s and 40s, and then it's these wind chills thanks to the winds behind that cold front, sustained around 15 to even 25 miles per hour. So that's what adds that wind chill factor in the teens. So you get the timeline. Tomorrow will be the best rain chance. Good news is for the weekend, see, we already climbed back into the 50s. We'll have some big time improvements. It's really going to be just for that window. Let me go back here to the very beginning. I'll show you if you just tuned in a little bit later, and I'll show you that latest advisory. And this is why we are streaming again live. I hope this is an okay shot for you. Notice the winter weather advisory, all shaded in purple. Harris, Fort Bend, Wharton County, Waller County. Those are the new counties that are now included under this winter weather advisory. That'll be the biggest change that you hear about and you see about on social media. So I'm just trying to let you already know. This is in effect until 9 a.m. Friday. This is mainly because we want you to be prepared for those elevated surfaces, less than 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation, but still that freeze line has started to dip a little bit closer in town. And that is why the National Weather Service issued that advisory. We just overly want you to be prepared, especially Thursday afternoon. So starting midday Thursday, but Thursday afternoon and into Friday morning. Today, no worries out there, okay? You're into cloudy skies, maybe a stray shower for the afternoon, 60s and some 70s, mild conditions for your Wednesday. All of this happens overnight, so you're going to have plenty of time. If you can, check our 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 o'clock news, whatever is more convenient for you tonight. We're going to continue to stream here every couple of hours, so you'll probably be able to get these latest forecasts in the afternoon and evening from our chief meteorologist, David Paul. And what the good news is too, as we continue to monitor this and update you, you'll also hear and see more consistency in this forecast. But here's the cold front, all that cold air behind it. You see the sleet, already the pink popping up in North Texas. You see some of the snow behind it. So good indication, hey, that Arctic air, it's on the move. It's only a matter of time. Now, 42 Dallas, big difference from 69 Houston, 75 in Victoria. Everybody going to start to see all the colors shaded across the state. 18 in Amarillo. It's cold, but now you can see why they're seeing that moisture transition from rain into snow. Here's our hour by hour timeline. I'll leave you with this picture, okay? So for the rest of the afternoon, again, cloudy skies, no big deal today. A stray shower. I think a better rain chance as that cold front starts to move across the area, mainly for our late evening hours into our overnight hours. An isolated thunderstorm will be possible. I think mainly it'll just be showers that are going to be in place. That'll take you into the early morning hours, so 1, 2, 3 a.m. Most of you will be sleeping during that. Temperatures are still above freezing, so we're just expecting plain old rain at that point for your overnight hours. And then by about 9, 10 a.m., notice how these temperatures are already starting to want to drop to the 40s, and then from there, they'll continue to fall 30s, and that's when we transition with those wind chills to the 20s and teens. So hopefully that helps you out with the timeline of what we're expecting here about the next 24 to, I would say, even 36 hours through Saturday morning, and then the event is over. But be prepared for that Arctic blast. We'll keep you posted right here. See you next time.